Hey everyone, just wanted to make a quick video just talking about this really. I've put it out there on socials, on the Discord, I've spoke about it on interviews and podcasts and things. So it was just kind of a random thought that was like, hey, I put this on the YouTube channel just so it's out there of me talking about it. So over the years, I've been made aware of people who got to episode 7 of season 1 of the audio drama and were loving up to that point, but got to a particular scene that I did in that episode, and that kind of turned them off from the show. And it was when I originally did it, it was like, it's like one person's opinion. I'm surprised. In fact, when I first put the episode out, there was almost no reaction, and then I got like one person who had an issue with it. But over the years, I've sort of seen a couple of people say it. So I just kind of wanted to address my thoughts on the particular scene. So the particular scene I'm talking about is the very adult-oriented scene between Scorpina and Tommy that I put into season 1, episode 7, Heart of the Dragon, which obviously has become a big plot point going forward because I wanted to make sure to justify it. Because, when I originally did it, yeah, I did it for shock value. And that was the goal. I wanted to cause drama, I wanted to cause friction between Scorpina and Kim and give this extra layer to Tommy's whole thing. That's why I did it. However, as I look back on it now, I realise that there could be a number of people who, may have loved the show up to that point, but got turned off by that particular moment. And I understand that, especially if you're sensitive to that kind of topic and whatever. Like, nothing was explicit, nothing was ever stated or said what happened, but some of the wording I used and that kind of stuff kind of made it obvious what had happened. But I basically I've come to realise that I've matured as a writer since then, and I don't feel like if I did that episode today I would put it in. It was surely purely for shock value. And like some people have brought up the season 3 Draken stuff with his relationship with Ranger Slayer and that being sort of a catalyst to her turning on him, which for me was a misinterpretation. That wasn't me saying that was the reason that she turned on Draken. That was me saying this is how toxic that relationship is and that's why she needed to get out of it, along with what the alternate versions of Tommy and Rocky and that said to her earlier on, and Kat. So she had that in her mind, and then she went back to the toxicity of that relationship. It was kind of a let's show how bad this is and how bad it's been for her over the last few years. There's a thing of it. I'm talking about the Corners episode here. So I don't feel like some people didn't like that scene, but I'm like, to me, that was justified by being part of the story, and it was never intended to be anything other than that. It was intended to be kind of a symbolic thing of their relationship. And again, nothing is ever explicit in our show anyway. But the Scorpina thing, I do realise now that I could have achieved everything I wanted to, from the falling out with Goldar to her arc about eventually coming to that season 3 episode where they fight and she's, spoiler alerts for everything, she's killed in that episode. All the drama that came out of that, I could have got with a simple kiss, or a simple suggestive look, or her being like, just so you know, my quarters are at this deck and whatever, and like basically suggesting that she was making a pass at him, or just a kiss on the cheek, or something that then she could lie to Kim and say that more had happened than what did happen, which would cause all the drama that followed. Maybe Tommy wouldn't have so much PTSD in the eventual follow-up to this in season 3, but that is something that I could have achieved with less, and it would have made people feel a less kind of icky about it, I guess. Now, if you're the kind of person who doesn't like the show in general because you don't like that there's sex and there's death and mature themes, like that, I can't help you. Like, that's the show that I'm making. I'm making a show about real people. I'm making a real, well, not real people, but I'm maturing it up to a PG-13, 12A rating. I'm making the people more true to life, and that is how people of that age act. So, like, if they, it's just a simple thing of, oh, I don't want that in Power Rangers because it's a kids show, then this isn't the show for you. However, if it was a case of because it was that particular moment. And even to the point of it's really clunky the way that I make sure to call out that he's over 18, so it's not as weird as some people have seen it to be. I've seen some people say, oh, he was underage. Like, no, he wasn't. I explicitly said he was not underage in the scene. But it was like I had to always put that disclaimer in the scene. It just came off as kind of clunky. And again, I feel like I could have accomplished just as much with a kiss or a suggestive look. And that's something that I've matured as a writer and realised over the years. And I just kind of wanted to put it out there saying it is my regret. If I could go back and George Lucas it, I would change it. However, I'm not going to do that because I don't believe in doing that. And I think that the show, for the better and worse, should show how it's evolved. And I feel like if you can get through that scene and then get to the season 3 episode where we address the fallout of that, I feel like you'll be like, okay, I don't agree that it happened, but at least it wasn't just for cheap drama, which initially it was, but eventually I was able to pay it off with the season finale stuff, and then obviously what happened in season 3 with Scorpina and Tommy. So yeah, really just kind of wanted to put out there that, like, if that turned you off from the show, I apologise. It was never my intention. I was just trying to cause friction and drama, and the storyline that followed with her being abandoned by Goldar, which set her off on her path of her storyline. So basically, I mean, there are other things that I wish I could change. My second biggest regret is I wish I had stuck to my guns with the season finale of season 3. I loved all the changes that Sadama did, but I wish that I had stuck to my guns in terms of I wish Tommy hadn't have come back through Resurrection again, because I really don't like that he came back from death twice. It's kind of become real sort of Jean Greyish, with him dying and coming back all the time. So I do regret that, and I wish that I'd stuck to my guns and made it like, oh, they went back and stopped him from dying, rather than... But I love the Aisha sacrifice thing. That was the problem. It's like, I hate them bringing something about Resurrection, but I love the Aisha sacrifice, so I kept it in. But that's my second biggest regret, I would say, just to make it not all about the weird stuff. But yeah, just a quick thing to say, if it ever turned anybody off from the show, I apologise. I didn't put it in there for explicit gratification reasons. I didn't put it in there for, I guess, fulfilling any sort of weird fantasy or something like that, as people could think. It was literally just, this is what I thought would shock the audience. And it did. But I've seen enough discourse about it to know that some people really did not like the show because of it. So, yeah. That's something that I'll learn. And I'll make sure that going forward, where I don't need to dial it up all the way to 100, I can maybe go with 20% sometimes, which is something I've learned over the years. All right, well, thank you guys. We'll be back very soon with more episodes. We've got 2 episodes, 3 and 4 of Zeo in the works. The scripts are with the script editor for the final drafts now. I'm getting the last lines of the next X-Men episode, Malice, coming in. So yeah, fun stuff coming up in the future. Thank you, everybody, and we shall see you for those.